Welcome to A Reason to Talk with Chris Reason, back with another episode about a serial killer. This time we are talking about Francisco Acevedo. I think I butchered that name, but let's get into it. This is A Reason to Talk with Chris Reason. Francisco Acevedo. I butchered that again, probably. Born September 2nd, 1968, is an American serial killer who was convicted of strangling three women to death in New York between 1989 and 1996. Acevedo was linked to the murders in 2009 after voluntarily given his DNA as a parole condition for drunk driving. In 2012, he was sentenced to 75 years to life imprisonment. Francisco Acevedo was born in Meriden, Connecticut, on September 2nd, 1968, one of three children to Yadira Acevedo. His parents divorced when he was 14 years old, after which he moved in with his father. According to court records, he abused alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine at the age of 12. Acevedo dropped out of high school during his freshman year and worked a series of jobs, including as a laborer, a cook at a pizzeria, a dishwasher at Testa's Silvertown Inn, and at a midnight baker at Dunkin' Donuts. Name drops. All right. I don't know what the hell I said that. In the 1990s, he was living in Mount Vernon, New York. He met his wife while working at New Way Kitchen, with whom he would have two sons. On July 3rd, 1986, 3 years before his first known murder, he picked up a woman in his company truck in Meriden and drove her to a secluded area where he bound her hands, blindfolded, and sexually assaulted her. The woman fled after he fell asleep, and he was arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison. He was released June 1988. So, sentenced to 10 years. Let's get out in two. Yeah, there goes the fucking thing again. Fucking failed judicial legal system here in the United States. November 11th, 1997, he was charged with a third-degree assault on his wife in Yonkers. However, the charge was later dismissed. On August 30th, 1998, he was arrested again for breaking his wife's nose after punching her in the face. He was convicted of a misdemeanor and served 9 months in jail. Again, horrible. Look at his previous record, too. Jesus Christ. Acevedo was arrested in Brentwood on January 26, 2009. His fourth time for drunk driving. Well, how the fuck does he even have a license, if that? While in prison, he gave a sample of his DNA as part of an optional parole application. His DNA was linked to the evidence from 3-decade-old murders victims. Maria Ramos of the Bronx, murdered on February 5th, 1989, age 26. Tawanda Hodges of the Bronx, murdered on March 28th, 1991, age 28. And Kimberly Moore of Greenburgh, murdered on May 24th, 1996, age 30. Each victim was found naked and beaten and were posed after their death. Investigators were aware of the murders being connected due to the matching DNA found on each victim. However, they had no suspect whose DNA matched prior to Acevedo's arrest. Acevedo maintained his innocence, claiming that he had sexual intercourse with the victims but had no involvement in their murders. He was acquitted of 3 counts of rape, as the victims were known prostitutes. Of course. He was found guilty of the murders on the first day of jury deliberations and was sentenced 3 times to 25 years to life imprisonment, each to be served consecutively, totaling a minimum of 75 years. He is currently incarcerated at Greenhaven Correctional Facility. Another shorter episode is done. That's all the information I was able to find on this man. Just, wow. Fucking released after 2 years when he's supposed to be sentenced to 10 in the beginning. And then found it or dismissed of that, and then next, he's like serving 25 years 3 times consecutively. But like, it's just holy shit. This guy's a piece of shit, and then our judicial system just is fucking terrible. Let's go back. In like 1986, 3 years before his first known murder, he picked up a woman in his company truck. Okay, so he sexually assaulted her. The woman fled after he fell asleep and was arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Released June 1988. So it's actually a little bit less than 2 years, because it was July 3rd, 1986. That just shows that for that one being a legit sexually assaulted, and who knows what else he fucking did, besides blindfolding her and bounding her hands, fucking, not even 2 years. It was like 1 year and 11 months, it looks like. But still, 2 fucking years out of a 10-year sentence. Apparently you can get out of good behavior or whatever the fuck he got out for. But then finally got sentenced after a fucking fourth time for drunk driving on January 26, 2009, and then put his DNA for parole for whatever application, and got found to be 3-decade-old murders for 3 murders just from a fucking drunk driving incident for the 4th time. Now, I don't know what it is like in other states, and compared to now being 2024, Wisconsin is the only state in the United States where your first OWI, DUI, whatever the fuck you want to call it, drunk driving, is pretty much a slap on the fucking wrist. I got one back in like 2019, and I wasn't in jail or anything for it, but like I learned my lessons from the shit. Got my license revoked for 6 months and all that shit. But there's people out there like this fucker. I mean, he's in prison now, but for 4 times, like, how the fuck are you not in prison just for that alone? After one is a felony here, depending on how you get it. Like, for exactly how you get it. Like, your first one could be a felony if you did something really fucking terrible while doing, I mean, besides drunk driving. And it just shows the fact that there's people out there with 7, 11 fucking DUIs, OWIs, but they still are out there. Who knows if it's legally driving, but they're still fucking driving. Like, how the fuck are you? There's people that don't change in this sense, and the fact that this motherfucker finally got caught with those 3 murders after a fucking 4th time drunk driving is when he got caught for these fucking murders and not like at any time before. Like for him fucking sexually assaulting that woman and only in prison for 2 years instead of 10. Him being charged with a 3rd-degree assault on his wife, and then later dismissed. I don't know if you know he spent jail time at all on that. And then August 30th, 1998, he was arrested again for breaking his wife's nose after punching her in the face. Convicted of a misdemeanor and served 9 months in jail. 9 fucking months. And yet they don't look at the part that he had the 3rd-degree assault and just consider it a misdemeanor. Like, what the fuck? That makes no damn sense. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but that just doesn't seem any fucking insane. Thank you for joining me in today's episode of A Reason to Talk with Chris Reason. Check out our online store at ebay.com/str/Chris Reason Network for great products and much, much more. Hit that follow button so you stay up to date for when new episodes drop. If you are listening to this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. Select all so you know when we drop a new episode on there as well and other content. Peace and bacon grease, guys. This is A Reason to Talk.